What's up, everybody? Hope you're having a good weekend. This video is my year in wrestling video. My series of year in wrestling videos. This is the year in wrestling 2005 part 1. I'll be talking about from January 2005 until after WrestleMania 21. And I'll be talking about basically WWE and TNA for now. In my future videos, I will talk about Ring of Honor a little bit, and TNA and WWE. So I'm going to kick it off talking about the Royal Rumble 2005. I was about to say 2005. I guess I would have been right. Anyways, Royal Rumble 2005. Here we go. To start off the year in wrestling 2005. I'm going to just talk about matches that I thought were good and that I enjoyed. I'm not going to discuss every single match on pay-per-views because that would take too long. The matches I do read from the pay-per-views, obviously I liked them or else I would not mention them. So, up first, to kick off Royal Rumble 2005 was Edge versus Shawn Michaels. They had a great match on Monday Night Raw. I believe it was a street fight. And I think HBK got busted open and cut himself and bled a lot. Or maybe Edge bled a lot. I don't really remember because it was 10 years ago. Over 10 years ago. But they had a street fight on Monday Night Raw. That was the main event. It was a great street fight, great match, entertaining as hell. So then they go to the Royal Rumble, and they have another singles match. It's like an Edge defeated Shawn Michaels. It was a very good match to kick off the Rumble 2005 onto the road to WrestleMania. As the Royal Rumble every year always does kick off the road to WrestleMania. Up next, The Undertaker defeated Hayden Wright in a casket match, and it was pretty boring. It was what it was. The Undertaker, I felt bad for him that he had to wrestle Hayden Wright and try to pull a good match out of him. But The Undertaker did do his best, and it was what it was. It wasn't very good. And that was not The Undertaker's fault. Hayden Wright just wasn't a very good worker or wrestler. Up next, WWE Champion JBL defeated The Big Show and Kurt Angle in a triple threat match when he got the pinfall, the winning pinfall on Kurt Angle. That was a decent triple threat. I don't remember it very good, but I'm sure it was decent. Because you had Kurt Angle in there and JBL in there, two good workers. Raw World Heavyweight Champion Triple H defeated Randy Orton. I don't even remember them wrestling at the Royal Rumble 2005, but they obviously did. And Triple H defeated Randy Orton, and Randy, I guess, was a babyface still at the time, and then he would turn heel going into WrestleMania 21 when he took on The Undertaker. The winner of the 30-man Royal Rumble for 2005 was a bad finish because they had John Cena and Batista both fall over the top rope at the same time. I don't even know, and I don't even think it was supposed to happen like that. The finish of the Rumble, I don't think they were supposed to go over the top. I believe Batista had Cena lifted up in a Batista bomb position, and then somehow he fell backwards over the top rope with Cena, and they both fell over the top. And then they started playing John Cena's music like he wanted, and a different ref held up John Cena's hand. And then Batista, another ref, held up Batista's hand, and his music played like he won the Royal Rumble. Well, neither guy won. Because Vince McMahon, and not just the finish of the Rumble was bad, but this was pretty damn insane. Vince McMahon came out I guess, to get on the microphone and announce, restart the Rumble with Batista and Cena restarted, and whoever over the top will be the true winner of the Royal Rumble 2005. And Vince was probably pretty pissed off that they both fell over the top. And he had a right to be. If it wasn't supposed to happen, Vince had every right to be pissed off at the finish and how they both fell over the top. Anyways, Vince comes out walking really fast to the ring, looked very angry, threw his jacket down, his suit jacket, runs to the ring, slides in, and both of his quads, his quadricep muscles, both of them, I guess, hit the apron. And then he tried to stand up in the ring. He couldn't stand up. He fell back down. And he fell back down because he tore both of his quads. So Vince, coming out to the ring very angry, tore both of his fucking quads and both of his legs. Who does that? Who has ever heard of anybody tearing both quads at the same time? I've never heard of that before or since. So that was pretty fucking insane that Vince tore both his quads and he couldn't even stand up in the ring. He fell on his ass. And he was leaning up against the bottom rope and he asked for the microphone, and then I believe he said, restart the match. There has to be a winner to this Rumble match. And then it restarted, and John Cena, or I think Batista threw out John Cena to win the 30-man Royal Rumble. So the final winner was Batista the Animal. So he goes to WrestleMania 21 to get a shot at the world title or whatever title he wanted. Then on a future Raw after the Royal Rumble, might have been the next night after the Rumble, Batista picked between SmackDown. He had a SmackDown contract and he had a Raw contract to sign to get a world title shot. So then he smashes a SmackDown contract. He breaks it, I believe, over his knee. And I think Teddy Long was a general manager at the time. I think he was. Maybe somebody else was. I don't remember. Anyways, so then I think Bischoff was the Raw general manager at the time. So he was happy and celebrating. And anyways, Batista takes the Raw contract, signs it to take on Triple H, fellow Evolution member. And Batista was still an Evolution member at the time. So Triple H was pretty pissed off and furious that Batista would go after Triple H in the World Heavyweight Championship. So then he signs a Raw contract on Raw, and then Batista bombs Triple H through a table in the ring during the contract signing, or whatever it was called. Whoever brand a world title Batista was going to pick to go after at WrestleMania. He picked Raw, and he picked Triple H in the World Heavyweight Championship. So Batista goes to WrestleMania 21 as the number one contender, and the guy that lost, John Cena, would go to WrestleMania 21 anyways and get a WWE title shot against JBL. And I believe he won at No Way Out. He had to win a match against Kurt Angle to get that title shot against JBL. So now I'm going to talk about No Way Out 2005. Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio Jr. defeated the SmackDown Tag Team Champions of Basham Brothers to win the tag titles. That was good. I was happy for them. And Eddie and Rey, the short time they teamed up, they were a great team. And they were obviously friends, so they had great chemistry and worked very well together. Up next, this match was crap. Booker T defeated Heidenreich by disqualification. It was boring and it's not worth talking about. Chavo Guerrero won a 6-man gauntlet match to win the Cruiserweight title, last defeating Paul London, the previous champion. And I guess Chavo defeated these guys during it. Funaki, Akita, if that's his name, Akita. That might have been Jimmy Wang Yang, I'm not sure. Or Jimmy Yang was Akita, maybe. And he also defeated Spike Dudley and Shannon Moore to become the Cruiserweight Champion. Chavo Guerrero Jr. becomes the Cruiserweight Champion again on the SmackDown brand, because this No Way Out 2005, I believe, was a SmackDown pay-per-view event. Other matches, you had The Undertaker defeat Luther Reigns, which, again, they give The Undertaker crap. He had to face Heidenreich at the Royal Rumble. That was bad. And then they give The Undertaker Luther Reigns. It was just bad. That match did not deserve to be on pay-per-view. U.S. Champion John Cena defeated Kurt Angle to earn a shot at the WWE title at WrestleMania 21, as I said. So Cena goes to WrestleMania to get the SmackDown WWE title shot. After defeating Kurt Angle, and Kurt and John Cena, the matches they had in the WWE when Kurt Angle was still there, the matches they had were always pretty damn good. Probably thanks to Kurt Angle, because he's a great worker and he could pull a good match out of basically anybody. So Cena and Kurt Angle, the matches they had, I always enjoyed. WWE Champion JBL defeated The Big Show in a barbed wire steel cage match. This was ridiculous, and this was a bunch of crap, because the barbed wire on top of the cage, it might have been real. I don't remember if it was real or if it was fake, like WCW used fake barbed wire in '99. So I don't know if this barbed wire was real or not. And No Way Out 2005. Anyways, Big Show chokeslams JBL off the top rope. JBL goes through the ring, falls through the ring. There's a hole in the ring. JBL is on the floor under the ring. Basically under the ring from the hole. And the Big Show is still in the ring, I believe about to leave out the cage door, and then JBL crawls out from under the ring apron. He crawls out from under the ring, and then he escapes, and JBL is the winner and retains the WWE title by crawling out from under the bottom of the ring. So Big Show basically was an idiot and threw JBL through the ring, or chokeslammed him through the ring, and Big Show screwed himself because JBL retained anyways by crawling out from under the ring. It was a pretty inventive way to have JBL retain his title. It was a pretty good finish. I enjoyed it. But I did want JBL to lose a WWE title because he had it for a pretty long time already. He had it since June 2004, and this was February 2005. So JBL had it for a very long time. I was ready for JBL to lose it and give somebody else a title and put somebody else over. And I was ready to have a new WWE champion because I was pretty damn sick of JBL holding it, even though I look back on his title reign now, it was pretty good, and JBL was a pretty damn good heel WWE champion. A lot of fans hated him, and he was good for SmackDown to be, I think he was one of the longest reigning WWE champions in the year 2000, in the 2000s, or the longest reigning champion in SmackDown history, I believe they called it. So JBL, if I could pick between JBL now, JBL being WWE champion now over Sheamus, I would take JBL any day over Sheamus because I'm not a fan of Sheamus. JBL heel was way better than this fucking stupid ass Sheamus as heel, and how he looks and even how he acts, his promos, how he talks. I hate everything about Sheamus. I just hate the guy, and I hate everything about him. So JBL retains against the Big Show in a steel cage, probably fake barbed wire match on the TNA. The first pay-per-view of 2005 was TNA Final Resolution. There was a lot of bad matches on this pay-per-view that aren't even worth mentioning, but I'll talk about some that I enjoyed. You got, matches like Dustin Rhodes defeating Kid Cash. I got nothing against those two guys. They're good wrestlers and good workers. But that match did not belong on pay-per-view. Other matches that didn't really belong on pay-per-view were 3 Live Crew, Ron Killings, Conan, and B.G. James, defeating the team of Christopher Daniels, Frankie Kazarian, and Michael Shane. That match did not belong on pay-per-view, but that's really TNA had them under the TNA umbrella. They were part of the TNA roster, so they used a lot of mid-carders on TNA pay-per-views because they really had to. They had no choice. That was their talent roster. Even though Ron Killings was pretty damn good in 2005 and in his prime, B.G. James and Conan were not in their prime. They shouldn't have even been on pay-per-view wrestling. Christopher Daniels was good, still in his prime. Frankie Kazarian was good in his prime. Michael Shane was still good. But that match, just a lot of matches in the early days of TNA pay-per-views in 2005. TNA did not have a lot of good matches. The only good matches they put on were basically like X Division title matches and some of their main events. So, the other thing I enjoyed, just listen to this. Final Resolution 2005. One of the matches were Eric Watts defeating Raven. Who in the hell would pay and want to see Final Resolution? Nobody's paying to see Eric Watts against Raven. Raven's way better than him, way better worker. And Eric Watts didn't belong on the TNA roster. I don't know why TNA hired him, but whatever. And then they have matches like Jeff Hardy defeating Scott Hall. And this was bad because Scott Hall was in no condition to be in the ring on pay-per-view. He looked, I don't know if he was drunk or what, but he didn't look healthy. He didn't look sober. To me, Scott Hall looked a mess. And he was dressed up in some god-awful Elvis ring gear. He was like dressed up in an Elvis jumpsuit. It was ridiculous. It was sad to see Scott Hall like that on pay-per-view. Anyways, Jeff Hardy defeated Scott Hall. Jeff Hardy defeated Scott Hall. And it wasn't a good match because Scott Hall was probably not sober and probably had a lot of injuries. Kevin Nash defeated Monty Brown, the alpha male. Monty Brown defeated Kevin Nash and DDP in a triple threat match to get an NWA title shot. So Monty Brown wins, becomes the #1 contender. This was decent, I guess. America's Most Wanted defeated NWA Tag Team Champions Bobby Roode and Eric Young to win the NWA Tag Team titles. And Bobby Roode and Eric Young at the time, they are TNA originals. They were Team Canada. And I believe they're still under TNA contract. AJ Styles, this was the best match of the entire Final Resolution 2005 pay-per-view. It was Ultimate X. AJ Styles defeated X Division champion Petey Williams and Chris Sabin in a triple threat Ultimate X match. So AJ Styles becomes the X Division champion. It was an entertaining Ultimate X, a lot of high spots. It was very entertaining. And I was happy for AJ that he won the title. Main event was NWA World Heavyweight Champion Jeff Jarrett defeating Monty Brown. So basically in 2005, Jeff Jarrett was in way too many main events. And he won and retained the NWA title a lot of times in 05, and it was pretty damn boring. Jeff Jarrett as world champion got really old and really boring to me. And Jeff Jarrett would hold the NWA title, I believe, until May of 05 at Hard Justice when he would lose it. Now on to TNA's Against All Odds pay-per-view from February 05. Elix Skipper defeated Petey Williams. I'm sure that was a good match, but I don't remember it. Raven defeated Dustin Rhodes. NWA Tag Team Champions, America's Most Wanted, defeated Kid Cash and Lance Hoyt. And Lance Hoyt was somehow, he was over, really over with the Impact Zone crowd. I don't know why. I never cared for him. But I guess Lance Hoyt had his fans. I was not one of them. You had, again, what was next? That was good. Not really any, well, this was good. Abyss defeated Jeff Hardy in a Full Metal Mayhem match. It was pretty good. And you had a tag match, Monty Brown and DDP. DDP shouldn't have been in the ring, but he was, probably because TNA paid him a lot of money, so he went there. Monty Brown and DDP defeated Bobby Roode and Eric Young. TNA X Division Champion AJ Styles defeated Christopher Daniels in probably the match of the night. Could have been the match of the year in TNA in 2005, in my opinion. AJ Styles beat Christopher Daniels in a 2 out of 3 falls, or not 2 out of 3 falls. He beat Christopher Daniels 2 falls to 1 in a 30-minute Iron Man match that went into sudden death overtime. So AJ, Christopher Daniels always had great matches together, especially in 2005 and 2006. I don't even know if they worked against each other in 06. But whenever AJ and Daniels had matches in TNA against each other, they were usually very good. And this 30-minute Iron Man match was very good. As I said, it went into sudden death overtime. It was the match of the pay-per-view and could have been the match of the year in 05 in TNA. Main event was the NWA World Heavyweight Champion, again, Jeff Jarrett, defeating Kevin Nash to retain the NWA title. Kevin Nash and Jeff Jarrett should have not been in the main event in 2005 on a pay-per-view, but they were, basically because TNA had no other choice and no other big names to put in the main event. So Kevin Nash was brought in late 04, and Jeff Jarrett was still NWA champ for most of 05, or for at least the first 5 months of 05. Jeff Jarrett was the champ. But Jarrett versus Nash, I did not order Against All Odds 05 because nothing on it I thought would be worth paying for $30 for, except AJ and Christopher Daniels were. That match was worth it, and I did see that match on a future, I think, TNA X Division DVD release. So now I'm going to talk about Destination X, which was our March pay-per-view. And then I'm going to talk about WrestleMania 21, and then I'll be done. Destination X took place as every single TNA pay-per-view did in 05 from the Impact Zone in Orlando, Florida. You don't think they killed Orlando? Well, they did, because TNA ran there way too much, because basically they could run Universal Studios, and I guess not to pay for the building. I guess Universal Studios paid for all the production of the show or whatever, just to get people that visit the Universal Studios theme park, to get them, a lot of non-wrestling fans, by the way. They just ran TNA there for an option for people that would come in Universal Studios. They thought, hey, there's a wrestling show, let's go watch it. And a lot of the fans weren't even wrestling fans, and they were just bad fans because they were quiet for a lot of the pay-per-views, and they didn't even know who a lot of the wrestlers were because they probably did not even follow TNA. They just went to their pay-per-views because they got in for free, because it was on the lot of Universal Studios. So TNA has killed Orlando, Florida, but thankfully NXT brought them back. Because, and still, TNA, still there's shows on Destination America in December. All those shows are still going to be from the Impact Zone, and they were all taped in July. So that's pretty fucking pathetic that they're still at the Impact Zone, basically because they can't go on the road and sell any tickets. And they are running, TNA is running TV tapings in Bethlehem, I believe, Pennsylvania. They're running TV tapings in January for their live show, and then they're running like 4 or 5 days in a row of tapings for their new network, Pop TV. So I hope TNA sells at least over 500 tickets for their TV tapings in January 2016, because if they don't, that'll be fucking depressing as hell and sad as hell. But then again, TNA barely knows how to promote their live events. And that's why they don't go on the road, because they're bad at promoting them and they can't sell any tickets because enough people do not watch their TV show every week on Destination America. Anyways, back to Destination X, which took place in March 13th, 05. Opening match was a 8-man tag. I guess it was decent. It wasn't that bad. So I'll talk about it. Chris Harris, James Storm, America's Most Wanted, and BG James and Conan defeated Team Canada. Bobby Roode, Eric Young, Petey Williams, and A1. Up next, Chris Sabin defeated Chase Stevens. I don't remember that match, but I'm sure it was decent. Dustin Rhodes defeated Raven in a bull rope match. And that was, I guess it was decent. And I think at this time, this entire show was booked by Dusty Rhodes. I believe he was the head booker there and head of creative. So he booked this entire show. The DOA, Disciples of Destruction, Don Harris and Ron Harris, formerly in the WWF as the DOA, formerly of WCW as Creative Control, and the Harris Brothers. And then they went to TNA and became the Harris Brothers. Anyways, the Disciples of Destruction defeated some stupid team called Philly Delta Slam. They were god-awful, and I hope you didn't see Philly Delta Slam ever work in TNA because they were god-awful. They looked like a generic Public Enemy ripoff or Nasty Boys ripoff. They were two fat white guys, and they just looked god-awful. And they weren't any good. They were shit as wrestlers. Up next, Monty Brown wrestled to a no contest against Triton, however the hell you say his name. He was probably no good because he didn't last in TNA and he was gone within a month and never seen again on the pay-per-view. Jeff Hardy, this was good at Destination X. This was one of the good matches. Jeff Hardy defeated Abyss in a Falls Count Anywhere match where they continued their feud from Against All Odds. This was Falls Count Anywhere. It went to the back stage. It went all over the Impact Zone. It was entertaining. Tables were used. Thumbtacks. Abyss poured out a whole bunch of thumbtacks in the ring and hit a black hole slam on Jeff Hardy. And Jeff Hardy had no shirt on. His whole back was covered in thumbtacks. So that was a pretty awesome match and pretty cool to see. Nice Falls Count Anywhere hardcore match it was. The Outlaw, Kip James, who was Billy Gunn, coming over from WWE, which WWE didn't use them. They used them very rarely in 2004, a little bit. In 2003, they used Billy Gunn a little bit on SmackDown, but WWE wasn't using him anymore. I'm sure he was released, and TNA signed him, and all they could call him was Kip James. That's not even his real name, but whatever. God-awful name. Kip James is a god-awful name for a wrestler. Kip James beat Kevin Nash in a first blood match. Whatever. It wasn't very good. Christopher Daniels won a 4-way Ultimate X match. I believe, yes, it was an Ultimate X. Christopher Daniels defeated Elix skipper Ron Killings and TNA X Division champion AJ Styles to win the X Division title in a Ultimate X match. It was entertaining and it was good. And the main event was NWA World Heavyweight Champion again, Jeff Jarrett, defeating DDP, Diamond Dallas Page, in a lumberjack match. After it, Monty Brown interfered and turned against DDP. And I believe he hit the pounce. His finishing move was called the pounce. He would scream, and in promos, Monty Brown, he was pretty entertaining at his promos. At least I enjoyed them. He would scream, "I'm gonna pounce your ass," and then he'd point in the camera, I believe, and say, "period," or something like that. So Monty Brown probably pounced DDP and screwed him out of the title. Or screwed him out of the match to win the NWA title. So Monty Brown turned heel. I thought Monty Brown was a pretty good talent when he was in TNA. And then he went to WWE in 2007, or late 2006. He became, I forget his name, when he went to the ECW brand. When ECW came back, Monty Brown went to the ECW. Marcus, I believe his name was Marcus Corvan. So Monty Brown went to WWE, was on the ECW brand. He was part of the new breed group in ECW, fighting the ECW originals. He was called Marcus Corvan. I think he was underutilized in WWE, but whatever. I guess they released him, or he asked out of his contract, I heard, because Monty Brown in WWE, I believe, he had to take care of, I believe, his nephews and nieces. He had to take care of them. It's like a father figure. He had to take care of them, so that's why he had to leave WWE. At least that's what I heard. He left to take care of his some kids that had no father or mother that were related to him. So Destination X, Abyss, Jeff Hardy was good, and the Ultimate X 4-way match was good. So if I rate the pay-per-view 1 to 10, I give it a 7 or 6 or 7. On to WrestleMania 21 now, which took place in Los Angeles, California. The first WrestleMania in LA since WrestleMania 7. So WrestleMania, basically the build and the promo tagline was WrestleMania Goes Hollywood. They did all these vignettes where they had the WWE stars basically in vignettes, like playing old movie parts of popular movies. I believe Booker T and Eddie Guerrero were in a Pulp Fiction sketch in vignette. That was pretty damn good. Batista was in that movie Taxi Driver. Robert De Niro says, "You talking to me, you talking to me?" Batista did that line. Stacy Keibler, some other talent said that line that Robert De Niro did in Taxi Driver. And then they did a Braveheart vignette with Triple H on a horse. And Ric Flair was in it also. That was pretty good. So WrestleMania 21 kicked off with Rey Mysterio Jr. defeating Eddie Guerrero. This was a great match. Rey Mysterio had problems with his mask, kept coming loose. I don't know what he had to strap his mask under his chin, if it was a button or what, and it kept coming loose or something, whatever. And after he had issues with this special WrestleMania mask, he kept having issues with it, so I believe he finally got Velcro under his mask after WrestleMania 21. Eddie Ray had a great match, pretty good match. Their matches in WCW were better, but this was still good. So Ray defeats Eddie to open WrestleMania 21. Now, Edge in a Money in the Bank ladder match. The first ever Money in the Bank ladder match. The concept for the Money in the Bank ladder matches was great. You win a briefcase, you get to have a title shot and cash in whenever you want to. And you get to hold the briefcase and future title shot for 1 year. So that was a great concept, great idea. Now they got a Money in the Bank pay-per-view. They've had it for a couple years, and I think the idea is, it's not overkill, but if they have another person like Sheamus, if they have another wrestler like Sheamus that nobody cares about or likes win the Money in the Bank, that is going to kill the concept of the pay-per-view, because nobody will care if you have a fucking mid-carder loser win it in 2016. Nobody will care. At least I didn't give a fuck when Sheamus won it. And you can call me a Sheamus hater all you want. I don't care. It won't bother me. So, in this Money in the Bank first ever matchup, ladder match, you had Edge, Benjamin, Chris Jericho, Chris Benoit, Christian, and Kane. It was pretty damn good ladder match. Very good match. Edge wins the Money in the Bank, and he holds on to it for a damn long time until January of 2006. So Edge wins, becomes Mr. Money in the Bank. That was great for him, great for his career. It pushed Edge, and it gave him a great push, holding on to that briefcase for so long. And then when he finally cashed in at New Year's Revolution, that was a great moment, and it was great for Edge. It was great for his career. Up next, you had The Undertaker defeat Randy Orton. They feuded for a pretty long time. Or they started feuding, I think, in early 05 or late 2004. Anyways, The Undertaker and his streak goes on. The Undertaker defeats Randy Orton. Women's Championship. This was not very good, and it shouldn't have really been on WrestleMania. Not blaming Trish at all. She was the women's champ. She was a great worker. She could carry a match. She could carry her opponent. But her opponent was Christy Hemme, the recently Diva Search winner of the, I believe it was the first Diva Search. Had to be the first Diva Search because the second one, I believe Layla won it. So Christy Hemme gets a title shot at WrestleMania 21. It was way too soon for her to get a title shot. It shouldn't have happened. She shouldn't have got that title shot. But she did. I guess WWE wanted their Diva Search winner in a big spot at a WrestleMania to try to get her over, but she was not ready. Nothing against Christy Hemme, but she was not a good wrestler, and she never really picked up being a good wrestler. Even in TNA, Christy Hemme tried as a knockout. She didn't really get any better. But I will say she was probably better than Eva Marie is today, because Eva Marie is not picking up anything, really, unless she's being carried in a match. And even Eva Marie being carried still makes her look bad, because she looks like she's doesn't belong in the ring and is not ready. So Christy Hemme loses. Thank God she loses to Trish Stratus. Lita was in Christy's corner because I believe Lita was supposed to get a title shot. It would have been Lita versus Trish one-on-one at WrestleMania. That would have been awesome. But it didn't happen because Lita, I believe, injured her knee and tore her ACL or MCL or something in her knee. So Lita was just at the side of Christy, and they had in the storyline they said Lita was training Christy, whatever. I doubt Lita trained her, but whatever. Christy tried her hardest. It's not her fault. She was put in that spot. She took it. If WWE's going to tell you you got a WrestleMania match and you're getting a women's title shot or you're getting a WWE title shot, you're not going to say no to them. You're not going to say, oh no, I'm not ready. I don't want the title shot. I doubt anybody watching this. I doubt you would say no. And if you would, you're probably lying. Because if I was put in that spot, I wouldn't say no. I would take it and say, hey. Then years and years later, if I was out of wrestling, I could say and tell people, hey, I worked a WrestleMania and I got a title shot. So up next was very good, very, very good, very good match. It stole the show at WrestleMania 21. Kurt Angle against HBK, the showstopper, Mr. WrestleMania, the main event. The showstopper, Shawn Michaels, Kurt Angle, one-on-one. You knew that these two guys were not going to have a bad match. You knew it was going to probably be epic and great, and it was. It was very, very good. It was very good. I really enjoyed it. Kurt Angle defeated Shawn Michaels by submission. So I expected it. I thought Shawn Michaels was going to win, but he didn't. Whatever. It didn't bother me. I was happy. I was happy they both put on an epic WrestleMania match. Up next, this was god-awful and had no business being on WrestleMania 21. Aki Bono, the sumo wrestler from Japan. Aki Bono defeats the Big Show in a sumo match. They took the ropes down and actually made the ring like a wrestling sumo match. It was god-awful. Had no business being on WrestleMania, but WWE wanted really bad to get Aki Bono. For some reason, they wanted to get Aki Bono for WrestleMania, and they got him. So they gave him a main match on the card, which was stupid. But whatever. I'm trying to look up if it was 2005, I think. That Brock Lesnar became the New Japan, what's it called? IWGP Heavyweight Champion, I think, in 2005. I think that's the year Brock won it. I'm not sure. I'm trying to look it up. Can't find the IWGP title. History, here it is. 2000, Brock Lesnar, October. So October 8th, 2005, Brock Lesnar became the IWGP Heavyweight Champion. Why did he come back to wrestling? Probably for money. That's probably why he went to New Japan and went there just for money, to get a big payday. And I'm sure he got a very big payday to come back to wrestling because he tried out for Minnesota Vikings, didn't make the team, was cut in training camp. So anyways, Brock, after being cut by Minnesota, he was probably depressed. He probably didn't know what the hell to do with his life or his career. He didn't know what direction to go in. And probably New Japan Pro Wrestling came calling to Brock to see if he would be interested in working in Japan and wrestling, and they probably told him, we'll give you the IWGP Heavyweight title and you'll only have to work 3 or 4 matches and we'll pay you a lot of money. So Brock went to Japan in 2005, became the IWGP Heavyweight Champion. Great for him. It's damn good for his career resume. And then worked, I believe he defended it twice, maybe. I don't know. But then they ended up stripping Brock of the title in May of 2006. May of '06, they stripped Brock and a new IWGP champion was crowned. And when Brock was in Japan, he actually worked with Akebono, the guy that defeated Big Show in a sumo match at WrestleMania 21. So there you go. And I actually have a DVD of the best of Brock Lesnar in Japan, where that match, him against Akebono, is actually on that DVD. It's an okay match, and Brock looks good, damn good in it, because he was a beast and still is a beast. Back to WrestleMania 21. After the fucking mess of the sumo match, we had the SmackDown main event. The WWE title on the line. JBL defending against John Cena. And Cena did not win a WWE title or World Heavyweight title before WrestleMania 21. So this was his first WWE title shot. As we all know, John Cena won the WWE Championship, and the one of many that he's won. I guess he's a 15-time champion or something like that. I don't remember, but I know he's held the WWE and World Heavyweight titles a total of 14 or 15 times. So Cena defeats JBL WrestleMania 21 to win his first WWE Championship. I was happy because I wanted the belt off of JBL, so I was happy that Cena was world champion. I didn't dislike Cena as much as I do now, because the guy is still pushed and put on TV way too often when he's on TV, or when he's available to work. He's put in way too many main events still, and he's still booked like Super Cena. But back in '05 at WrestleMania 21, I was happy for John Cena. And I was happy he won it because he was a new superstar. He was only around for about 2 years, 3 years on the main roster. So it was something new having John Cena win the title. And as I said, I was happy JBL dropped the title finally. And WrestleMania was a perfect place to have John Cena win it and launch his career as a top guy in the face of the WWE. And I think in '06 they put John Cena in the first WWE Films movie called The Marine. I think that was 2006 that he was put in there. So Cena, after winning the title from JBL, WWE basically knew that they were going to make John Cena the face of the company. And he still is, basically, because he sells the most merchandise still. So now the final match at WrestleMania, the Raw main event for the World Heavyweight Championship. Triple H defending against Batista. Former friends, former Evolution members. This was a pretty good main event. So it was a pretty good match. Probably thanks to Triple H, because he was a great worker and he could carry a lot of bad wrestlers. Not saying Batista was bad, because he wasn't. In '05 and '06, Batista was pretty good in the ring. And he tried hard, you could tell. So Triple H comes out with Motorhead playing his theme. That was pretty cool to hear. And it was a good entrance. Batista wins a World Heavyweight Championship. Pyro goes off, fireworks go off, and that ends WrestleMania 21. Very good WrestleMania. Not great, but very good, especially Kurt Angle and Shawn Michaels. That was the best match on WrestleMania 21, in my opinion. So if I'd rate WrestleMania 21, I'll give it a 8. It was very good, but not great. So now this ends my year in wrestling 2005 video. This was part 1. I'll do a part 2 in a couple days, on Tuesday or Wednesday or something like that, and I'll put it on my YouTube page. Follow me on Twitter at TNA WWE Guy, and at NXT WWE Guy is my other account. if you have ever watched any of my Year in Wrestling videos or any of my other predictions or review videos or NFL pick videos, basically what I'm just saying is, if you have ever watched any one of my videos, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. And if you follow me on Twitter, thank you very much for following me. I really appreciate that also. So, hope you enjoyed the Year in Wrestling 2005 Part 1 video. Have a great Sunday night. Bye for now, everybody.